Welcome back to another week of Instigating with Clarkie and Drury. And my goodness, do we have some stuff to get instigated about today. We are brought to you by our friends at Coolbet Canada, the Listowel Squash Courts, Listowel Vision Care, and See the Game. I'm Ryan Drury. That is Clarkie. And man, there is some ground to cover today, Mr. Clark.
Okay. Blue Jays, let's play ball.
Let's play ball. Let's do it. It's been 30 years since 1992.
Yeah.
And they're trying to resurrect the ghosts of World Series past. And Alek Manoah, of course, our viewers on Mightman will have already seen Friday's game one, with it being a 4:07 start, which I can't stand. And we'll get into that. But it's a 4:07 start. Same thing on the Saturday for game two, where Kevin Gausman will go. Yeah, obviously you'll know the result of the game, but heading into the playoffs, obviously some optimism, an improvement over last year. They won one more game. They made the wild card. They earned the top AL wild card. And they will take on the Seattle Mariners, who won the season series 5-2. It's worth noting. However, you know, a lot can change, and Manoah is going to duel Castillo. I would assume Kevin Gausman will face Robbie Ray, who's allowed to pitch now because the border restrictions.
Can you imagine the story if that wasn't lifted? But yeah, he's going to pitch.
Oh, it would have been some fireworks down in Seattle for sure. I'm pretty optimistic. I think that the Jays can beat the Mariners. I think they can sweep the Mariners, but I could see it easily going the other way too. And if the Jays top bats, I'm not worried about the pitching. I think that the pitching at the top end, which we're going to get, is going to do their job. My worry is, what's Vlad going to look like? Like, can he get out of this funk he's been in? Hit a couple homers down late in the stretch. Okay, 32 homers in a down year, we're calling it for Vlad. Not bad. Can he get out of that funk? Can Bichette continue this hot streak? Can Whit Merrifield continue his hot streak, hitting over 400 to end the season the last couple of weeks? And of course, George Springer, who is one of the all-time home run leaders in the postseason. This is what they signed this guy for, Clarkie. How are you feeling heading into this postseason?
I'm excited. I mean, this is what we watch for all season long, right? Like all the memories, most of the memories that I have of Blue Jay games in the past are from playoff games, like Bautista hitting that home run against Texas, and Edwin Encarnacion against Baltimore in the 10th inning in the wild card game. And of course the World Series. I'm excited to watch the ball. 4:00 start. What are you going to do? Like, you can't change anything. It's Canada, and the Jays always get the short end of the straw, and the Jays fans. But hey, it's an excuse for people who have tickets to get out of work early on Friday. Hopefully all the employers out there give people their opportunity to get out of work early. And I'm going to try to sneak out as well and watch the game in its entirety. It doesn't bother me that much. And on Saturday at 4:00, whatever. It doesn't bother me as much as it looks like it bothers you, Ryan, but I'm just excited for baseball, and Manoah starting Friday. Let's hope when this airs on Whiteman, the Jays are one game up, because I agree with you. I think they can sweep, and I think they can get swept. They fought all year for home field advantage. They got it in all three games. It doesn't matter if, it's not going back to Seattle no matter what. All three games are in Toronto. A colleague at work said to me, so what game is Seattle going to be the home team in, even though they're playing in Toronto? I said, no, you don't get it. All three games, the Jays are the home team. This has nothing to do with COVID. This is just a new rule the Major League Baseball is instituting this year. So, I'm excited to watch it for sure.
Yeah, the third wild card team, the advent of that, this is the setup that they've come up with. I don't disagree with it. I think it's easier for travel, obviously. And
sure.
Yeah, here's hoping that the Jays can come out swinging. And yeah, look, the first pitch time is obviously not ideal. And, I'll be heading to an OHL rink, and, I'm sure in the media room, you'll
be able to see most of the game then. You won't miss it.
Yes, we will all collectively be locked in on my way there. I'll have it on the radio. So it's fine. One thing I will say though is that you're right. We always seem to get the short end of the stick in regards to making way for flashier teams, if you will, and that's the beast that is Major League Baseball.
It would have been interesting, though. Let me just say this: it would have been interesting if the Jays were playing Tampa, which and then Seattle and Cleveland. Like, I wonder if that would have changed anything. Tampa's got to be a bigger market than Seattle, right?
I don't know about that. Like,
No?
I don't know if I don't necessarily know that maybe the Florida TV market overall is maybe bigger than Washington State.
Because that's what it's all about, right? It's all about TV market in the States.
But
that's all it's about.
But I think it would probably be the same, because I don't know that the fan base of the Rays
well, that's for sure
is necessarily that big. I would actually venture to say that there's more Mariners fans than Rays fans. You know, I don't know that it would have changed much, but it's a valid thing to wonder. The full bracket, obviously the Jays are hosting the Mariners, the Cleveland Guardians are hosting the Rays. Winner of Toronto Seattle will play the number 1 seed Houston Astros. That'll be a tough go for the Jays, for anybody. And then obviously the winner of Cleveland Tampa will play the Yankees, and on the NL side, the Phillies. They made the postseason for the first time in 11 years. Of course, Seattle making it for the first time since 2001. So Philly's going to play St. Louis in St. Louis, San Diego in New York to play the Mets. The winner of Philly St. Louis will take on the Braves, who for the 5th year in a row won their division over the dejected Mets. And the winner of San Diego Mets will play the number 1 team in baseball, the LA Dodgers. It's a great playoff bracket, and we're going to talk about it and where you can maybe lay some heat down on it if you got some spare change kicking around with our friend Jake Bolin-Moss from Coolbet, one of our betting experts. We'll chat about the Jays and his thoughts on it in the postseason and, MVP props, that sort of thing. I can definitely say I'll be laying some cheddar on that. Clarky, talking about start times and everything, I don't know if you saw this, but this is just another example, and we'll bounce off this to another broadcasting conundrum, but another example of these leagues doing everything they can to seemingly make it so difficult to be a fan and want to continue being a fan and grow the game. Major League Baseball, 3 days before the postseason kicks off, let international fans know that they will not be able to stream the games on MLB TV. They are going to have to pay extra out of pocket outside of North America for other streaming services that are going to exclusively carry the games internationally. This is such a gong show to do this to people that are subscribing. I saw a mass amount of Blue Jay fans in particular from over in England and Europe and in South America that love Vladdy Jr. and the like. I saw a plethora of tweets, thousands upon thousands. It was trending on Twitter, that are so upset about this. And I just can't believe that 3 days before the playoffs, your premier event kickoff, you do this to people that are watching internationally and already have to go through the trouble of either getting up insanely early or staying up really late to catch these games. It's just such a mess. And another example of that, of Major League Baseball is giving their fans the middle finger. They just don't care.
It's crazy. Like, I don't understand how they can do that. It's just the whole broadcast. You mentioned it off mic. Like, it is just what you said. They don't care about the fans, and I don't know. I'd love to see things, turn around, as we were talking off mic, and I think we're going to get into this too about the hockey, the Leafs in particular, radio teams this year. There was a report out there from our friend Jonah. From YYZ Media, YYZ, I guess, that the Leafs will not travel, nor the Raptors, their radio broadcast teams on the road this year. They'll be calling the road games off a monitor. That's insane.
I just can't believe it. And when we had our friend Alan Davis on, who's down in Buffalo, New York, talking about the sports radio scene down there, go back on our YouTube channel and check that out. It's just bizarre to me that these decisions get made. And again, it all comes back to the main problem that he pointed out and that we constantly point out. These broadcast companies up here and the teams,
they're not broadcast companies. That's the problem.
Exactly. They're owned by people that broadcasting is not their MO. They don't care about how good it is. They just care that it gets on air and that people have to exclusively use their service to tune into it.
I don't understand the thinking, though, that,
they think they're invincible.
Well, no, but the thinking that, we'll just put crap on the air and we won't make as much money and it'll be fine. Like, why wouldn't you want the best on the air and make more money? I don't get it. Maybe someone could explain it to me one day.
My guess would be that they don't think that they will make more money if they pump more money into it.
But that's ridiculous to think.
But that has to be it though, right?
So let's compare that to the cellular side of their business. So if they never did all the improvements, would they be better or worse? Like, can they charge 5G more now?
And all this other stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I have no idea. They'll always charge more.
It's just crazy. And I don't know.
They can't give us one thing.
Jonah also said, let me just finish. Jonah also said that from what he's heard, neither of the broadcasting companies even tried to go out onto the streets with a package to sell, to make money to travel these teams. So in other words, hey, let's go to Pizza and see if they'll sponsor the Leaf Road broadcasts and kick in money to go
and it would cover the
travel costs. Because that's all it is travel costs and any transmission costs. But if they pay a lot of money for transmission costs nowadays, I don't know what they're thinking, because we're transmitting right now and it's really not costing us much, is it, Ryan?
The internet's completely almost gotten rid of that problem. Like, you can broadcast anything through the internet.
Exactly.
It's an absolute joke. It's a farce that Joe Bowen and our friend Paul Jones and guys like that will not go on the road with the Raptors and the Leafs and call games off monitors. COVID gave these companies such an excuse to just continue doing this, because they obviously they had to broadcast it that way. It obviously significantly reduced their bottom end, and they're going, well, why would we go back? We'll just keep it this way. And that's the problem, and Alan talked about it. They don't care about the product. They don't care about the fans, and neither do the leagues.
And put yourself in the shoes of a broadcaster, say Joe Bowen, watching the game on MR. What happens? What happens if the feed drops? What would people normally do? Turn on the radio. Well, good luck, because now Joe and Jim Ralph will be in the dark. They won't be able to see a thing, right? If the feed ever dropped out from a game. Not that it happens too often, but I remember back in the day when it dropped out, people would turn the radio on to hear the game if it was a big game.
Clarky, it happened to me last year. I told you about that horror show night at the Sleeman Center where our equipment just failed. There was a power surge and we couldn't finish the broadcast. I'd never experienced anything like it. It was incredible. And it does happen. And also that too, like I still wouldn't understand it. I still would object to it if it was like a smaller team, like the Rays or something,
The Coyotes.
Or the Coyotes.
Like, can you imagine this? This is true. The Coyotes radio team is traveling. The Leafs aren't. Wrap your head around that, Rogers and Bell. Wrap your head around that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how are these two enormously massive franchises that are worth literally billions of dollars a piece not sending road broadcast crews on the road? The Guelph Storm, my friend Larry Malott, who has been the voice of the Guelph Storm on C-Joy Radio for a long time, goes on the road with the team. It's an OHL team. The radio station he works for,
but I hear you.
No, but he's still doing it.
Yeah.
He's on the bus.
Right.
Going to Sudbury, like wherever. It's such it. And now the Leafs and Raptors, worth billions of dollars, can't do it. They don't have a staff member that could have gone out and done sales. I thought that sales executives existed. And then also imagine It's the 40th year that Joe Bowen is going to be calling Leaf games. Imagine the disrespect to this guy. People are already mad enough that he's not consistently the voice on television of the Leafs, which he should be.
Right.
Now you're not going to send this guy on the road and he's going to have a garbage view of the game?
So no perspective of morning skate. No idea of talking.
No talking to the coach.
Well, I mean, I guess you could talk to a coach, but just not the same. But no morning skate, no kibitzing with the other broadcasters in person.
Got to get scratches on Twitter.
Yeah.
Just everything is so impersonal.
I don't know.
It's a mess. Yeah. It's so embarrassing. Like, they're not going to send Joe Bowen and the great Raptors crew on the road. Like, what are we doing?
And like, thankfully, Chris Cuthbert does a lot of the Leaf games on Sportsnet. Thankfully, because if I was having to deal with I would be like walking on the edge. And I don't like the fact that, and I think you can confirm this, but other leagues will let you put on, when you're watching a game online, listen to the audio of the radio feed. A lot do. Please give me that option. Please give me that option. But they won't.
They won't do that. They won't do that.
They don't want to do something the fans want. Of course they don't.
No, and they're going to charge more and more. And the big reason that it won't happen for Leaf games is because Sportsnet carries a majority of them. They're not going to let you tap into the TSN 1050 feed and watch it over top of their stream of the game.
Right. And not going to
happen.
But 590,
and you can't do it anyway because it's blacked out. Well, yeah, for sure. But like, it's blacked out anyway on the online streaming services. You have to watch it live on cable.
I don't think it is this year.
Oh, it is for sure. They're not going to the NHL will not unblock out games.
You can now watch your own team in your market with the Sportsnet Now package. That's what I was told.
If that's true, that's at least something, but that's the other problem I have. NHL TV in Canada is dead now. It's now run by Sportsnet Now. So now if I want to stream and watch any Capitals games, being a Caps fan, I have to give Rogers money.
Right. But how much did you pay last year for the NHL package?
For NHL Live, it was always like $220, I think.
So
you could get like an early bird in September for one.
Rate, and they have an early bird rate down. I think it's $199 for Sportsnet Now, which includes the whole NHL season and all the other sports too. So I don't think you're going to be paying more money, and you're going to get more for your dollar.
Yeah, but it's just the fact that I don't want to give it to them. I just don't, because what do we get?
At the end of the day, last year you were probably giving it to them, just didn't know it. It was
sure. Yeah, you're probably right. It's unfortunate that all these companies, these couple of companies, the level of care is just so seemingly low when it could be a lot better, and it's just not fair. And like all these polls going up. Oh, which new sponsorship in the NHL do you like most? The jerseys, helmets, or boards? And I just tweeted none of them, because none of them make a difference to me as a fan. It's since you got all these millions of new dollars in sponsorship, what are ticket prices going to come down?
Yeah, no.
Is the
not
hat,
a chance?
Are the hats going to be cheaper? No way. It's not going to improve my experience as a fan. So I don't like any of them. I don't give a damn about the new advertising. It's all going directly to the owners.
I've heard some teams, I don't know what the Leafs are doing, but some teams are not offering their team jerseys without the sponsorship logo on it, to buy.
Yeah, I think that you can't buy the jerseys with the ads on them unless you're at the arena. They're selling them at the team shops. That's what I heard for a lot.
One of those.
I don't
know. Who would
know.
want to buy a Leaf jersey with milk on it? I wouldn't.
I don't know.
Who would want Doug Gilmour?
Spill some at home. You
remember the Doug Gilmour milk ads back in the day?
Yeah. Yeah. It's bizarre, and it's just another farce. It's just so stupid. I can't believe it. Speaking of farces.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hockey Canada they've reached another level, a level that every time we just think it can't get worse, and it just does. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and talk about that. and the ongoing scandal that is running Hockey Canada through the mud right now at their own fault, really. We'll take a quick break here on Instigating. Welcome back to Instigating with Clarky and Drury. Ryan Drury still with Chris Clark. And as we alluded at the break, we got to talk about Hockey Canada. More hearings that took place on Tuesday night. That was October 4th. And they took place during the day. But on that night, if you haven't seen it yet, you can go on our YouTube channel. I recorded a very long rant about it. And you know, we'll chat a bit about that here now, as there's been some development since I recorded that. Clarky, this is just so bad. Like they're making themselves look worse and worse. And Andrea Skinner, who, by the way, is Jeff Skinner's sister, she's the interim board chair for Hockey Canada, and her and Michael Brindamore, the former board chair, they put on a performance of performances on Tuesday. It was some of the most embarrassing television I've ever watched in my life. What were your thoughts about some of the things that were getting said on Tuesday and some of the stuff that you saw flying around on Twitter? It was unbelievable.
Well, it is unbelievable, and something's got to give. And I think the first step of things that got to give is Tim Hortons pulling their sponsorship. When people and companies start pulling the money away, that's when the shit will hit the fan, if you want to say. The second thing that's going to happen is hopefully, if there's no change in regime and they start picking a team and players and coaches and general managers for the World Junior team, people start refusing. And unfortunately, it's got to this point, right? Like this board and the people at the top, Scott Smith, is it?
Yeah, the CEO.
They should be gone. Like they need to start from fresh here and get rid of these people who are in charge. And hopefully they will come to the realization themselves that, okay, this is not good for hockey. We are being very selfish here, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're just being selfish and trying to protect their job, but they're not looking out for the betterment of the game and hockey in Canada. And it's absolutely a shitstorm. It really is. And until more companies like Tim Hortons step up and say, we're done, and people start refusing to play or coach or manage anything to do with Hockey Canada, these guys are just collecting their paychecks. And people like you and I, or people with kids in minor hockey, are paying their salaries. It's crazy.
Well, there's been some developments as we record this on Thursday, October 6th. Obviously, TELUS, Canadian Tire, Scotiabank, and a few others as well have pulled their sponsorship dollars, some of them permanently. I know Canadian Tire said they were permanently severing their relationship with the entity known as Hockey Canada. It's getting... There's a break wind here, and it's coming. And these people, and I said it in my rant again, you can check it out. I posted a link to it all over our socials. It's on our YouTube channel. I just had to sit and say something. It was embarrassing what we saw and what we were subjected to as Canadians on Tuesday. That's what it's going to take. And these companies doing this is a big deal. Hockey Quebec came out and said, we're not paying our registration fees. We're not doing it. We have no confidence in Hockey Canada. Hockey Manitoba also calling. I saw Rick Westhead tweet a couple hours ago, Hockey Manitoba calling for a review as well. The Ontario Hockey Federation, Phil McKee, the head of that, also doing the same thing. Now the provincial organizations are starting to come out and say, well, we're just not going to give you money. The provincial funding, the federal government funding is obviously already sitting there frozen. These people need to go. I don't know how many people are on that board. plus Scott Smith and Andrea Skinner. They all need to go. They're selfish. You're right. They're ruining the legacy of the game. And again, we don't need, like, they think we need Hockey Canada. Anthony Housefather, one of the MPs that was questioning them the other day, read from some of the board minutes that they were forced to turn over to the Heritage Committee. In there, a Hockey Canada executive said, quote, "We're a family and we need to start pushing back against these malicious media reports.
Yeah.
We need to start defending ourselves and stop sitting in the neutral zone." Like, what are you talking about? They're blaming the media. They're saying that it's unfair, it's biased. The media is making cynical. That's what Andrea Skinner said. Cynical attacks against Hockey Canada, floating misinformation out there. What misinformation? The Globe and Mail reported the other day about this secondary provincial level slush fund that they've got going on, and they said that was misinformation. Then provide us the information on what it's for. Give us the documents. That's all we're asking. And they were combative. They wouldn't answer questions. The answers they did give were embarrassing. And again, in my rant, I said the most embarrassing thing I thought was when Andrea Skinner said that she thought it was a waste of time and not sensible to get rid of all the board and the senior members, because what would happen then? Would all the lights stay on in rinks across Canada? She doesn't know, and that's not a risk worth taking, which is so insulting to all of the volunteers and people that make the game actually go. Hockey existed before Hockey Canada. It'll exist after it or through the changes that come to it. It existed before this board and Scott Smith. It will exist after this board and Scott Smith. And if whether they tear the whole organization down and make a new one, like, we don't need Hockey Canada to continue having a national hockey program. Tear it down and call it something new. The Canadian Hockey Federation, whatever you want to call it. And people are like, oh, what will we do with all these board members? Who will run it? Anybody but you. How is it not this simple? Like, why would you not reach out to Sheldon Kennedy? Sheldon Kennedy would be a great guy to try and lead our national organization forward. Like, I just made that up off the top of my head. There's plenty of qualified people who could do it. Get Ken Dryden involved. The guy's a politician.
Like, there's so many people. That's the thing. There's so many people. And they need to wipe it out and start fresh and get on with things here.
It's just embarrassing. It's such a farce, and it's just insulting to Canadians that actually care about the well-being of the game and the well-being and fair treatment of people that come into contact with people that are part of the game. And that's what is at odds here. It's just, what a mess. What a mess. All right. We'll take another quick break and we'll bring on our friend Jake Bolin-Moss from Coolbet to talk about the Jays, the baseball playoffs, and the NFL so far. That's coming up next here on Instigating. Back to wrap things up here on Instigating with Clarkie and Drury this week, brought to you by our friends at Coolbet Canada, the listable squash courts, listable vision care, and see the game. And as I mentioned, our friend, the betting expert himself, Jake Bolin-Moss from Coolbet Canada, on with us again. Jake, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing all right. Still not an expert, but happy to help out with the show.
Are you pumped for the Jays?
Fired up for the Jays. Yeah, I'll be there the 200 level tomorrow night. Hoping they can take care of business here. 1-2. I don't want to get to Sunday and be sweating out Thanksgiving dinner in a Jays game. So.
No kidding. I think we're all hoping for that. Now, really quick, because I think you are an expert. You know what you're talking about. It doesn't mean Jake wins all of his bets, but Jake's tapped in. He knows what's going on, and I've benefited from a lot of his tips and information over the last little while. Before we start talking about the Jays, though, I would just like to reference a little video that you posted the other week, week 3 of the NFL, where you were mighty upset about the Browns game. Can you please take us through the emotional roller coaster that you shared with the world?
Yeah, well, I knew this was gonna. I had a bad feeling this was gonna come up because I know you were all over it. But yeah, for those who don't know, I had the Steelers. I think it was plus 10.5, and teased with the under, and it looked good pretty much all game. Steelers got the ball late. Actually, the game in my eyes was wrapped up. They'd given the Browns the first down on 3rd and short, I think it was, and then they took it back, and it was 4th and inches. And instead of letting Brissett just do the sneak like he's never failed a sneak in his life, they punted the ball away and downed it like I think it was like at the Pittsburgh 2 or something. So I really just needed the ball to die at that point. And sure enough, they're doing the old rugby play, and it's a fumble, and it's in the end zone, and I need it to not end up in Cleveland's hands. And sure enough, it does. They finish with a defensive touchdown on just a messy final play. And crushed actually both the under teased and the Steelers. Not that it mattered one way or the other. I just need to lose one of them, but lost both, and I was devastated. Those are the best videos for Twitter, though. People do love when anyone's devastated, especially myself.
We tweeted out. I tweeted at you on the show account. Quote tweeted you to send prayers your way, because I can't remember the last time I saw somebody so emotionally devastated with the outcome of a game. The emotion on your face, it looked like a scene out of Lord of the Rings, honestly. Like you were Gollum and you dropped the ring into Mount Doom. Like you were devastated. I couldn't believe it. It made for some
Was it like mine
Twitter.
when Tampa had a double power play, 2-man advantage in overtime in game 6? Was it the same level?
He didn't freak out and scream and smash the table like you did, Clacky. But the emotional weight of it all, you could just feel it through the screen. I just wanted to give Jake a hug. Like, oh my God, it's the worst.
That's awesome.
The line you said where you were like, this is the worst beat in my life. I'll never suffer something like this again. It made for incredible television. You need a reality show, my friend.
Yeah, I'd love to do more of those. But I also don't want to lose all the time either. So I'm addicted to betting these primetime teasers lately in the NFL. And I don't know why I continue to suffer, but I just do it every single week. And I actually, outside of that one, they've been all right. But yeah, that one was devastating.
It was the grossest one so far. Okay, let's talk some Jays baseball. You're fired up. You're going to be at the game Friday night. Alek Manoah on the hill. How are you feeling overall? We opened the show, kind of sharing our thoughts about it. How are you feeling about how this series could play out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's going to be Manoah Castillo. I think Manoah has a clear edge in game 1. I think he's like a bona fide ace. I don't know. I've seen Castillo have some issues since he did come over to Seattle. He's had some awesome games, obviously, and he's a great pitcher. But I don't think he's necessarily been the guy they've wanted him to be. So I think just on that basis, I liked him in game 1. Obviously, I'm biased, so that might take that with a grain of salt. The bullpens looked a lot better down the stretch. I think there's a lot of more trustworthy pieces down there. So if Manoah can get you maybe 5-6, and then you have probably 3 or 4 guys that can come out of that pen and close out a game. So it's really just going to depend on this offense, right? We've seen a lot of guys get hot lately. Merrifield's been awesome. Springer's picking it up. Teo, Bichette, Vladdy, we could use a little bit more, I'd say, out of a guy like that. But if the offense can hold up their end of the bargain, I think the pitching can get it done at very least in game 1. Then we're talking who's going to start game 2, because we got the issues with Gausman. Is he going to be ready to go? Is it going to be Stripling? Are they going to try to steal one with Stripling and then have a fresh Gausman if they make the ALDS? I don't know. There's a lot of talk right now, and it's all speculation, right? We can't quite figure it out. Schneider's not tipping his hand.
So the Jays are favored to win this series right now, Jake?
Yeah, I think they're about a minus 170, minus 160, minus 170, right around there.
So it's kind of a unique situation, right? Because all 3 games in Toronto. How much do you think the momentum will swing if Seattle wins that first game?
Well, obviously, I think big time you're going to see a swing to Seattle side, especially if it's going to be a loud crowd there on Friday night, and then they end up squeaking that one out with, like I said, the Jays' best pitcher on the mound.
Right,
they're going to feel a lot better about themselves. Then they got Robbie Ray coming in. You hope the Jays know him from last year, but you never really know, right? So I think you're going to see a huge momentum swing. Hopefully, we're going to see some crowds like we have in the past, 2015, 2016. Obviously, that can play a bit of a factor. I don't think people give it enough credit. Some people do, but I think other people aren't talking about it nearly enough. I think the crowd definitely has an ability to get under opposing players' skin, and I think Manoah is going to thrive off that big time crowd. But like you said, Clarky, if they do steal that first one, Seattle, that is, I don't know. I think it's going to be scary times on Saturday in Toronto.
And the crowds, you're right.
Absolutely.
Like when we look back at the Texas series with Bautista and the crowd, just the crazy play with the ball when Russell Martin threw the ball back to the pitcher and it hits the guy, and like the crowds in Toronto seem to really shift in my mind that series as not a passive crowd, but really a wild crowd. And I hope it keeps up, and I hope you're part of it tomorrow night, making that place loud.
Yeah, I mean, didn't we see Andrus? He had like 3 errors in that in the bottom half of that inning, right?
Crazy.
And then I watched the 2016 video when they swept the Rangers, and I think they swept them at home. Donaldson scored on another Andrus. I think it was another Andrus error. It came off the second base. He bad throw to first, and Donaldson ended up scoring on that on a huge slide, and the crowd was going crazy again. I love watching those old clips. I'd love to see them get past a division series because I haven't been alive for one of those. So that'd be super exciting.
Yeah.
Or sorry, past the conference series.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And the thing too, I mean, I did see Caitlin McGrath did tweet that Gausman threw a bullpen session today on Thursday as we record this. Fingers feeling good. He says he feels completely fine. So high likelihood that we see him Saturday, but who knows what John Schneider has up his sleeve. If the Jays lay a beating on them in game 1, maybe they shift their focus a little bit. I want to touch quickly with you on the other series that are going to be going on in Major League Baseball. Some really intriguing matchups here, and I'll throw them at you, and I'd just like you to tell me who you think will win and how many games. Obviously, we have Jays Mariners. I think we're on the Jays, safe to say, and I think they can sweep Seattle. I really do. I'm calling Jays in a sweep. What about Tampa, Cleveland? This is 2 teams that just kind of grind it out. They don't have any really flashy players. Cleveland would have the bigger superstars, if anything, guys like J-Ram and Stephen Kwan. What do you see happening there?
I see the ugliest series that we're going to get out of the wild card. I want no business even watching this series. I think it's going to be boring. I think
you'll be able to watch it in prime time, right?
Yeah. When they get the noon game tomorrow, yeah, good for them. I'm not a huge fan of this series. I lean Tampa. Obviously, you're going to get a better number there because it's in Cleveland. I think they have a little bit more experience, but they've struggled to score runs lately. I mean, they're winning games 2-1 or 1-0, or they're not really putting up a whole lot of runs. So it'll be interesting. Like Cleveland doesn't really hit the long ball a lot. Tampa kind of relies on manufacturing as well. I don't know. I think you'll see a little bit old style, but then also Tampa's got that new analytical style as well with the way they send out pitchers and all that. So I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to that one. I think I'd lean Tampa just based on the value, a little bit better number than Cleveland. Obviously, that's all due to probably the home field for Cleveland over Tampa there.
Yeah, and Tampa getting Tyler Glasnow back, the leader of the Peaky Blinders himself. He
looks
back
just
on the
like
hill.
that guy. Like him.
Killian Murphy, yeah, he looks exactly like him. By order of the Peaky Blinders, Jake says Tampa is going through. What about Philly St. Louis out in the NL? That's a really intriguing series.
Yeah, Philly, like they battled kind of the whole way there near the end of the season. The Brewers were in the mix in there for a while, and then finally Philly was able to close out. I think they beat Houston and had their big celebration for making the final wild card, which I always find crazy how hard they celebrate making the wild card, even you go back to the Jays celebrating, but that's neither here nor there. And then the Cards, I think not a lot of talk about this Cards team. They end up winning their division, but you look at the Dodgers and the Braves and the Mets, those seem to be the talk of the National League, and the Cards have kind of gone under the radar. Great players at the corner infield positions there. And I don't know, I hate to go against the dog, but I think this one I lean favorite. I think I go Cardinals. They do have obviously the home field, and then I think overall, the roster for the Cardinals just looks a lot better. But I'll be honest, I haven't seen a lot of Cardinals or Phillies baseball for that matter this season. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think people are going to be more impressed than they would have been coming into this series about how good these two teams really are.
I watch both teams quite a bit. I like the Cards as well. Like you said, the infield position, Arenado at the hot corner, Goldschmidt, who's going to walk into the Hall of Fame at first. And I just think their pitching staff's better too. I just think that they have a deeper pitching staff. Once you get past Zach Wheeler, there's question marks for Philly, and defensively, we know that they're not that sound. They improved, but they're not as sound as the Cardinals. Final wild card series. I actually am really excited to watch this. Padres Mets. This is going to be unbelievable. The polar bear's going to be swinging for the fences. Pete Alonso, Soto coming over, trying to resurrect his season. He was pretty bad down the stretch. This is a really intriguing one. Jake, who do you like?
Yeah, you mentioned Soto. I mean, he's still getting on base at a crazy rate, but yeah, the bat's just not working like he's hoped it would. Obviously, he's got a little bit of playoff experience that shortened season, I think it was, when the Natties went all the way. So that was a fun little ride for them. I think he can probably help in terms of the experience factor. I don't know. I feel real bad for Mets fans, but at the same time, I don't, because I'm a Leafs fan. So it's kind of the same little run we've both had. They have all these teams and so much promise, and then they choke away their division on the second last series of the regular season. So they're forced to play this wild card series. I don't know. I mean, I think the Mets are a fairly big favorite, around minus 175. So it's hard to take a number like that. And knowing the falter they've had here in the final stretch of the season, maybe you take the Padres, at a plus number. I mean, if you're the type of person that bets against the Leafs in the first round because they haven't been out of the first round in 20 years, well, maybe that's something you look at with the Mets. Obviously, they've had some playoff success, I think maybe 6 or 7 years ago, but it's just been heartbreak after heartbreak with teams that really should do a lot more damage. I actually am holding a Mets futures pick for the World Series, so I don't want the Padres to win, but it would not surprise me if the Padres maybe push it to a 3-game series and squeak one out there in New York.
You never know.
Look in your crystal ball for me now and tell me who you see in the World Series.
Oh, that's big pressure, Clark. It's big
I
pressure.
know, but hey, you know what? The Jays have a chance here to play either their 92 or 93 competitors, and the Braves or the Phillies. I'd love to see a Braves and Alex Anthopoulos series with the Jays. That would be unbelievable. Braves and Jays.
Yeah, I love that one. I definitely won't steal that one from you. I'm going to be a homer. I'll say Jays out of the American League. I mean, I think Houston is really good, but they get past there and anything's possible. On the NL side, oh my goodness. I mean, Braves were real good last year. I'd probably just go chalk. Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are just going to be a tough team to beat. They're going to have home field right all the way through. So I just think it's hard to bet against the Dodgers right now, and that's probably where I go. But it's so chalky. I hate
that'd be great too, though.
But I think the Dodgers is probably it's hard to bet against them, like I said.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go Jays Cardinals.
Oh, wow.
The Cardinals are having another, Jake kind of touched on it. They're having one of those years. St. Louis, every 8 or 9 years or so, they have one of those years where they're just really solid, but no one really pays attention to them. And there's magic floating around. Albert Pujols, he passed the babe. I think that there's some magic there where they can take the big red machine to one more World Series and try and ride them off into the most glorious sunset. Obviously, I'd be picking the Jays against them with a little bias as well, but I think that would be amazing. Jays Cardinals, that would be incredible, because I mean, outside of his dad, Vladdy Jr. always said that Pujols was the guy he looked up to. So it would be there's just a lot of intriguing storylines there, but Braves or Phillies, that'd be amazing too, just for history's sake. It'll be great. Now, we'd be remiss if we let you go. We're about a week away from NHL action. And I know Clarky wants to know about his Leafs, your Leafs, I should say. Maybe you can give my Caps some love too. I don't know. What are your feelings on some early futures props, maybe on the NHL side of things? Is there anything you've kind of dug your nails into yet?
Yeah, I think I gave this out a little while ago. I think I had Tarasenko point total. I completely forget what it is now. Maybe around the 75 mark or something like that.
I think it was 76.5.
Okay. Yeah. So I was right. I was right about there. Yeah. I think he can easily be an 80-point guy. He's super talented, and on a St. Louis team, once again, I feel like he's always under the radar, but has a ton of good young talent. Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, Buchnevich is there. They still have Ryan O'Reilly, and then you have Tarasenko to go in the mix there. The top power play is going to be deadly. I think they have solid goaltending. So, I mean, I think when you're looking for offense from that team, that's probably the horse you go to in Tarasenko. So I think I take his point total over. A little on the spot here. I don't have the odds up in front of me, but
it's all good. Yeah. I got a hot take for you.
Sure.
And this is based not on any of the preseason action. Matt Murray for Vezina.
Okay. My only concern with Matt Murray for Vezina, and obviously he's been awesome in the preseason, and you got to take that with a grain of salt. My concern is I think they like Samsonov, and they
He's played well. They both played well.
Yeah, you wonder if it's going to be just like a 50-50 split, or they'll just ride the hot hand, which I think they probably should do. Yeah. I just wonder if they have a one in mind, or if it's just going to be 1A, 1B goalie by committee. I'm already talking Jennings Trophy with my buddies. It's the best goalie tandem in the league.
That's right.
According to preseason.
Exactly. Look at Ryan. Yeah, Ryan is speechless for the first time ever.
Yeah, no, I know. We always have just crazy takes in our group chat. And yeah, I think Murray and Samsonov had a couple good nights in a row, and it was Jennings Trophy winners by a season.
The thing that hurts the Leafs, I think, in the preseason is the crap teams they seem to be playing all the time. Ottawa and Buffalo and Montreal.
Yeah, people have high hopes for Ottawa. I don't think Ottawa is going to be as good as people think they're going to be. Maybe that'll be my hot take. I think they're still dogs. I think plus 200 to make the playoffs. So I'm not taking them to miss the playoffs by any means, but I think they're a little overhyped. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Sandy's in on the action. She hasn't been on TV for a while, so
what did our unofficial mascot? I wonder what Sandy thinks of the Leafs this year.
The Leafs? Yeah, she likes.
Yeah, she's all in on Matt Murray.
She's a Matt Murray fan for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, Matt Murray Vezina.
I don't know about that myself. Real quick, Matthews, you gonna get 60 again?
Yeah, I mean, we're going for 70 now. 60s. We're not really at 60 anymore. We're going for 70.
That's right.
Yeah, I think he can do it. I mean, he's going to get a ton of ice time, right? And
if he can stay healthy.
If he can stay healthy. That obviously is always a factor when it comes to any of these guys. And you take a player prop and the guy's injured in the first 10 games. And
he missed how many games off the top last year? With
at least 10, I think.
Yeah. Just think. Yeah, we would have had 70 easily.
70. Why not?
I'm laying some down on that.
I think we have it actually we have a 60 at least, 59.5 maybe.
Okay.
We have at the book right now. So yeah, maybe we got to get a 71 in there. That'd be a nice number.
Maybe he should. A nice round number. Yeah, it'd be incredible. He'd be the first guy in a long time. I think he'd be the first guy since Hull to do 70. I think Hull in 86 was the last one to hit 70 if my memory serves. So it would be an incredible feat, obviously. Like Ovi's never even done that. 70's extreme.
Exactly.
So but hey, if the number's up there, it's tantalizing because he's as good as it gets right now in terms of filling the net. I wonder too, really quick before we let you go, Leafs, are they going to win around this year? I said to my friend, our buddy who we'll have on the show sometime soon, you know this, Clarky, I said to Brock Byer on his new podcast, In the Couch, I said that they would make the conference finals.
So, yeah, obviously I'm hoping for them to get past the first round, but how can you...
The pressure is going to be so great.
How can you believe that it's going to be the case when it's just year after year? And honestly, I thought they had a great playoffs last year. That was the first playoffs I came out of where I was like, you know what? Like they went 7 with Tampa and probably should have won game 6 and that phantom high sticking and whatever. Like, I'm not going to go back through it.
Of course.
I think that was the best playoff round they've had as this core group. And I don't know, maybe that was a turning point. We'll see. I don't know.
And you're obviously into odds. The odds at some point has to say they're going to get by the first round.
Surely. I think their odds last year to start, they had them winning the series. It's just, you can't trust bookmakers because the team's cursed. So
listen,
and that's exactly what I said last year after game 6. This team is cursed, but no, it's a new season and we're going to be fine.
Yeah. I'm right back on the web.
Listen, they were cursed too.
They were.
Look what happened.
That's right.
Look what happened.
Yeah, that's right. I need one of those. Just
so do I.
Curses.
Just one, and then I won't complain. Well, I will
That's
complain,
right.
but I won't complain.
Curses are made to be broken, gentlemen, and if they can do it, you guys can do it too. It's not impossible. Jake, we appreciate you doing this, man. I'll be looking for more, hopefully not too much more Twitter pain from you if a bet falls through. Although I don't know if anything will quite equal what happened to the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 3. Dude, you are an expert. That's why we have you on the show. We love having you, brother. Enjoy the Jays game, and here's hoping that we can have you on again soon when we're talking about them heading potentially to an ALCS.
Yeah, thanks so much. And one more thing before I go. Pat's got the Patriots got their throwbacks on this weekend. I'm taking them on the spread. I gotta win with those Reds on this weekend.
I say we. I'm a Patriots fan. I hope so. Bailey Zappi, man.
That's what we're going with. Here we go. Here we go.
Another one. Let's do it. Get on the Dame train. Get Stevenson going. I like that too. I'm going to take them on the spread as well. Jake, you're the best, man. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, boys.
All right, that's it for the show this week. Remember, you can watch us Friday nights at 8, Sunday nights at 9 with our friends on Whiteman TV. That's channel 6 for Whiteman subscribers. We're on our YouTube channel every Friday night, debuting at 9. Follow us on social media at InstigatingPod. We appreciate our friend Jake Bolin-Moss joining us on the show this week. For Clarkie, I'm Ryan Drury. We'll be back next week with more Instigating.